upcoming fights, some predictions, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about the dynamics in some really, really mega fights that are coming around the horizon. So as you can see, the titles are Pacquiao versus Spence. We got Donaire versus Obauli, and we got Haney versus Linares. So we're going to talk about those three fights, but we're also going to talk about some other things as we go through the rest of the night tonight. So let's get into it. So first one is when we talk about Manny Pacquiao versus Aerospace. Now that's not happening till a little later on this year. I think in August. That's the fight, if I'm not mistaken. Very good fight, and not one that I can easily predict because Manny Pacquiao is a tricky customer. Okay, Pacquiao is a lot more than meets the eye. Errol Spence is also a very well schooled boxer. You know, obviously the best welterweight right now in the division is Errol Spence. You got some of the people who disagree with me and say, no, Terrence Crawford is the best welterweight in the world. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, so I won't rule you out, but I would say that Errol is right now proven by the competition he's faced to be the best welterweight there right now. So that's what I'm saying. So Pacquiao is going up against the number one welterweight in the welterweight division. And this is just a legendary fight, no matter how you look at it. Once you put Manny Pacquiao in the mix, that's a legendary fighter. And that's not somebody you can take very lightly because Pacquiao's got rest. Pacquiao's got, Pacquiao's always in shape. Pacquiao's going to be in shape. Yeah, he's older, so certain things he won't be able to do like he used to do younger, but I'm sure he makes adjustments and adaptation for that. So he can still have the explosiveness, he can still have the quickness, he can still have the speed, he can still have the power. So this is not going to be an easy fight for Errol Spence. I don't think so. I think Errol could dictate the fight though, because he's got the length, he's got the reach, he's got the pivot work. He's got what Floyd got, the pivot work. He's not as versatile as Floyd is in terms of in terms of the timing of Floyd. Floyd has a special kind of timing, a special kind of movement, right? But he can do it all. He can fight on the inside, he can fight on the outside, he can fight at mid range. He does get hit a little bit more than I would like, but basically his defense is pretty tight. He likes to push. He likes to be an aggressive fighter. So you always gonna get action with him. He can box as well, quite well. Um, so this fight against Manny Pacquiao, it's imperative that Errol Spence controls Pacquiao. It's all about control at the end of the day. Who controls the fight? So it'll be imperative on Aerospace's side of the equation to try and control Pacquiao. The thing about Pacquiao is Pacquiao has a sneaky kind of way of countering you. He's very explosive. He's very quick. He's very fast. Okay, this is the thing that like how Roy Jones was very quick. That reaction time and that speed, and let me think. I'm thinking of several fighters who are just very explosive, very quick, very fast. Floyd is one of those fighters as well. His reaction time is ridiculous. His speed, hand speed in terms of throwing combinations, not as fast as Pacquiao. Pacquiao throws like 8 punch combinations in the twinkling of an eye. You can just blink and he threw 8 punches. So he's really fast. So there are certain things and attributes of Pacquiao that make him extremely dangerous. So let me explain some of the attributes Pacquiao has. And no matter how we look at this, it's going to be a tough fight for Errol Spence. Pacquiao's never an easy fight, okay? But I mean, it's going to be hard to beat to figure out Pacquiao early. You have to be able to try and control the fight early. That's Errol Spence. On Pacquiao's end, Pacquiao just got to be himself, pretty much. The thing with Pacquiao is Pacquiao sometimes gets caught coming in. And Pacquiao needs to be a lot more clever in how he comes in. And all it takes really is pacing. It's just timing. Just timing. That's all to it. Don't let guys time you. Don't become too predictable. Don't just come lunging in. Be clever with it. Draw the guy in before you lunge at him. You know what I mean? So, that's the thing with Pacquiao. He just has to make minor adjustments, be more patient as a fighter, and how he launches his attacks, and he'll give Errol all the hell in the world that you could think about, because Pacquiao knows how to neutralize a jab. He does. He didn't get to neutralize Floyd's jab because Floyd wasn't just jabbing; he was jabbing and pivoting and moving and changing up angles and setting traps with his jab and all of that. But Errol's. What can I say? Errol don't do all of that, right? Errol won't set you up with the jab. But he push you back with the jab. He'll control you with the jab so that your offense don't, come through as easily. He's a smart fighter. Don't get me wrong. Errol's a smart fighter, but Floyd got so many wrinkles to his game. There's like these little wrinkles in the game that make Floyd what he is. You see, Floyd would just feint just enough, or just delay the punch just enough. Just throw the punch with a certain time and just enough. Throw at an angle, just a slight angle off of the angle that you usually used to seeing, just enough. That's Floyd, and that's the tricky thing about Floyd. Floyd trains so hard that he can make the adjustments in the ring. He don't need nobody to tell him. He can make the instantaneous adjustments to a fighter, and I don't really see that in Errol. Errol's well trained and everything. Maybe he's got it. Maybe he's getting, but he's still counting on his trainer really to kind of give him tips on the outside as to what to do. So he's kind of green in that regard. And I'm sure Errol can make some necessary adjustments, and he really has great pivot work. I think that pivot work bails him out of all kinds of situations because he really cuts some really interesting angles. But like I said before, he don't really. He work everything off the jab, and you could see him trying different things inside the ring sometimes. Like he tried a different stuff against Danny Garcia. He was mixing it up, going from the top to the bottom. He would throw certain unique combinations. So I saw certain things that Errol was doing, how he was changing levels, how he would he would just like slide in on Danny and be closer to Danny than Danny even realized. So he's not even using the jab. So he does different things. And the best Errol really could be a problem for anybody. Okay. But there's these little subtle things Pacquiao is doing now that makes Pacquiao much more dangerous, in my opinion, than when he was younger, because he's not throwing as many punches, but when he does throw punches, they do count. Right? We saw him hurt Keith Thurman back in 2019. He hurt him with a body punch. He didn't get a finish him, but he hurt him with a body punch, and that was a well-placed body punch. Keith Thurman never saw coming. He feinted him, and then he came to the body. And I'm thinking, if that Pacquiao shows up, a smarter Pacquiao with a little bit more nuance and variation, and really studies Aerospace gonna have a long night. It's gonna be a tough, long night for him. You know what I'm saying? So when I talk about Pacquiao versus Spence, Manny Pacquiao, man, he's still doing it. He's still doing it at the age of 43. At 43, he's still doing it. So we got to really pay attention to him and see how he performs in this fight. But I truly believe anybody, counting out Pacquiao, thinking Errol's just going to mold through Pacquiao, that ain't happening. I'm telling you, that's not happening. Nobody's ever mold through Pacquiao. Nobody's ever finished off Pacquiao within 3 rounds. I think that's not happening. He's in for a tough fight. Pacquiao's that kind of fighter. Unless he can really control Pacquiao and do a kind of like a Floyd Mayweather on him and shut him out of the fight, it's gonna be very hard for Errol to just straight up beat Pacquiao like that. Or like commandingly. Maybe he does win every single round. Maybe it's possible. Anything's possible in boxing, but I just don't think it's likely. Okay. Let me talk about Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. This is a step-up fight for Devin Haney. Yes, no doubt about it. It's a step-up fight. But to be honest with you, it's a fight that Devin can well put in the bank. Another unanimous decision victory. He has dropped guys before, and Linares gets dropped, so it might be possible that he drops Linares in this fight. Now, don't think that I'm thinking that Linares is like this done, worn out fighter. I don't think Linares is done or worn out. But the way how Devin Haney's going to handle Linares will make it look like Linares don't belong in the ring with Devin Haney. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a performance again by Devin Haney where he just shines very brightly. People are saying he should go for the KO. I don't advise a fighter to try and go for a KO because, by the way, guys, if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button. I don't advise fighters to go for a KO because if you just if you're just gonna go for the KO, you might get knocked out. So it's not about going for the KO. What you want to do is you want to do what you're supposed to do every single round, and deal with everything as it progresses, while looking ahead to the future. So that's all I got to say about Devin Haney versus Linares. I expect unanimous decision victory, but it's possible that either Linares or Haney. I never heard of Haney ever getting dropped, but Linares getting dropped. I think somebody's gonna get dropped. Yeah, right. We talk about one more. Donaire versus Obauli. Obauli has been around for a while. I think Obauli is a champion right now. Good fighter. Donaire's taking on him. That's a good fight. Donaire is a big bantamweight, though. He's really huge for bantamweight. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I'm going to pick Donaire. I know Obauli might beat Donaire. Donaire is really up in age as well. But I'm going to pick Donaire to beat Obauli. So those are my picks for the weekend, for the weekend fights, which will be, I pick Devin Haney to beat Linares and Donaire to beat Obauli. We'll see how it works out in the end. But it's just my little commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later on What You Need. Peace.